Hello, my name is Abigail Corinne. My matrix number is 23DBT21F2001. So today I will be presenting about deforestation. So forests are a complex ecosystem on Earth that includes trees, shrubs, grass, and more. Forest component trees and plants make up the majority of the forest. In addition, different species of animals breed and create a healthy environment in which they can live happily. Therefore, we know that forests are a habitat for a variety of wildlife and birds. Forests are not only beneficial to wildlife, they are also very beneficial to humankind and are very important. Malaysia showed the highest forest loss rate in the world between 2000 to 2012. According to a new World Forest Map, Malaysia's total loss during the period reached 14.4% of the forest area in 2000. The loss is equivalent to 47,278 square kilometers, which is larger than Denmark. Malaysia's forest loss was partially offset by an increase in vegetation coverage of 25,978 kilometers square due to natural restoration, replanting, and the establishment of industrial timber and oil palm plantation. During the period, Malaysia's oil palm planted area increased by about 50% or 17,000 square kilometers. However, plantations do not respond well to natural forests in terms of biodiversity, carbon storage, or conservation of ecosystem service, and Malaysia suffers from a very sharp decline in its forests with a tree coverage of over 50%. These forests generally store the most carbon and are rich in wildlife such as the endangered orangutan, Borneo elephant, and Sumatran rhino. So the definition of deforestation refers to the reduction of forest area around the world that is lost to other uses such as farmland, urbanization, and mining activities. Deforestation, which has been significantly accelerated by human activity since the 1960s, is detrimental to natural ecosystem, biodiversity, and climate. The Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations estimates that the annual deforestation rate is about 1.3 million kilometers square per decade.
Good morning, madam. My name is Surya Rashini and my matrix number is 23DBT21F2012. So today I'm going to presentation about deforestation, that is causes and impact in deforestation. There are 4 types of causes. The first is agriculture activity, logging, mining, and cattle ranching. Now I'm going to talk about impact. Impact in deforestation, that have 3 types, that is environment, academic, and social. In environment, there are 4 impacts, that is loss of biodiversity, loss of water catchment area, and the second is economic. Economic effect is depletion of natural resources. And the third impact of deforestation is effect social, and impact is effect on indigenous people. Okay, firstly I'm going to talk about environment effect, that is the first is loss of biodiversity. Okay, deforestation destroys the habitat of plant and animals. Loss of biodiversity is loss of the variety of plant and animal. Millions of plant and animal species have become extinct. As a result, there is lesser variety of resources that we can obtain from the rainforest. Changes in biodiversity may increase the likelihood of insect-borne disease like malaria, dengue fever due to the lack of predators to control the population. And the last point for loss of biodiversity is the rainforest may grow back, but after being deforested, and the lack of nutrition in the soil may not be able to support the biodiversity that exists on the land. The second point of environment is loss of water catchment area. Forests play an important role in maintaining our waste supply. They enable water to be collected and stored within a water catchment area. The Amazon basin is said to produce half of its rainfall through the forest transpiration process, the water cycle. Mass clearing of trees disrupt the water cycle. When trees are removed, a drier climate and drier soil might occur as the ground and longer contains and receive as much water. In turn, this results in decreased water supply and higher water prices. In Tanzania, deforestation caused by coca production is predicted to reduce 1 and 2 of the catchment area by 2020. The cost of water is expected to rise by 4 times. And this is the example of loss of water catchment areas. Now I'm going to go to second impact, that is economy, depletion of natural resources. Natural resources, anything from the natural environment that people can use to satisfy their needs such as food, shelter, clothing, air and water. Tropical rainforest people provide important natural resources, timber, food and water that contribute greatly to the economic growth of many countries. Rapid deforestation often destroys the rainforest faster than it can be replenished itself. This is the example of the economic depletion of natural resources. Okay, now I'm going to go to the last impact, that is social effect on indigenous people. Cutting down the rainforest to create land for plantation or mining affect the livelihood of indigenous people. They lost their homes and are forced to adapt to a new way of living to survive. Traditionally, they live in harmony and obtain everything they need, food, shelter from the forest. This displacement often causes indigenous tribe to disperse and culture to disappear. The impact of deforestation can be devastating, however, people have different views toward the issues. Effect of indigenous people example. The Guarani community is living in the makeshift camp because part of the forests were cleared for sugarcane plantation, displacing these people from their homes in the tropical rainforest. Now I'm going to the conclusion. Deforestation is largely a tropical issue. The quality of data on deforestation rates has improved but remains poor, and it is the source of contention and debate. The causes of deforestation are complex and multifaceted, although socio-economic factors are trade are foremost. Deforestation impacts the environment through loss of biodiversity and disruption of ecosystem process, and the economy by affecting ecosystem service, and because of the inefficient coding of resources. Perhaps the most tragic constitute in the loss of traditional belief and custom and the displacement of the forest-dependent communities. Solving the problem of deforestation requires a suite of strategies that include the established and effective and global protect area network to preserve forest biodiversity and the genome. Implementation of good practice guidelines in the use of forest resources. Ultimately, a reformulation of policy and a change in the attitude of decision makers are needed to ensure the forests are correctly valued economically, social, and biologically. Thank you.
How to control this human impact to biosphere? First, plant a tree where you can. Second, go paperless at home and in the office. Third, buy the recycled product and recycle them again after you use it. Fourth, buy the certificate food product. Support the product of the companies that committed to reducing deforestation. It is all about business. If you don't buy it, they will be encouraged to improve their practice. 6. Raise awareness in your circle and in your community. 7. Buy only what you will use.